So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Oddit and kind of what we do, but our background is in product design, and a lot of what we do is essentially kind of UX teardowns. So we work with a lot of direct to consumer brands and SaaS products to essentially just remove friction points from the customer journey. So our reports kind of go through various sections on our customer sites. We kind of go through line by line or section by section and redesign each, give them rationale of why we're making the changes, and kind of go through it that way. We've been doing this at Oddit at least for 2 years, and I've been doing product design for about 12. I've run a few different agencies over the years in the product design field, and kind of fell into Oddit over the last few years and in the D2C space. And since then, we've worked with about 3,500 brands, and yeah, it's been super fun. And we've done quite a few live events like this going through brands. So it's a little different than our normal format. Normally we get to take the domain and go back into our Figma files and talk through it and, work in silos. But I think doing it in the open like this is really interesting, and everyone can ask questions and I guess kind of see the thinking and thought process behind things. It's not meant to be kind of perfect feedback, if that makes sense. It's more meant to be conversational and I guess help spark ideas and give everyone on the call ideas of where to go with things or things to test.
Perfect. Let's jump into it. Sean, if you want to start with that first one.
Yeah. Sorry, all I see is a Tolstoy link.
Here, I'll send you, sorry. We're gonna start with Peace Collective.
Oh, you mean in the Slack you sent me?
Yeah, sorry.
And I apologize if I mute a few times. It's just for me to cough like that. Is the person who submitted Peace Collective on the call by chance?
Yeah, on the call.
Hey man, do you mind giving just a little background on the brand and kind of what you're seeing right now, or any maybe things you're struggling with? If not, that's fine. I'm happy to just go through. But...
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for the opportunity. So yeah, the brand is, you guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Cool. The brand is Peace Collective, and what we're about is we help people look good while giving back to mental health. And a big part of what we do is sports licensing. So right now our site is purely just focused on Black Friday. So it looks a little bit different than it would on a everyday basis. But essentially what we're known for is licensed products across the NBA, NFL, pretty much all the leagues, Major League Baseball, the NHL, as well as nostalgic properties such as you got Peanuts, so Charlie Brown, Sesame Street. So I guess in terms of challenges and stuff, we sell a lot of different types of products that is not going to always interest the same types of people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, right now it's Black Friday, so the site's kind of geared up towards that.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess like my developer's on the line too, Danny, maybe he can chime in on our biggest problems. But I'd say definitely getting people relevant information, I'd say, is probably one of our biggest challenges. And
yeah,
then,
no, I think that's
people
good.
coming from a different area. Yeah.
Cool. Are you a Canadian brand?
Yeah, we're Canadian. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'll add to what you now said too. If you refresh the page, I updated the banner, I think, to on Replo to like have better line height. But I guess take it easy on us. I guess nothing's perfect on the site, but yeah, happy to get your feedback. Yeah. All right. I think I broke the button too. I need to fix that. But anyways, yeah. I'll go fix that. Okay, go on.
No, everything's good. Don't worry. No, awesome. Thanks for sharing, guys. I'm familiar with the brand. I'm trying to think of how I know it, but I definitely am familiar with it. I'm just going to shrink. Everyone can see my screen. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Why has this been doing this lately? Where it says it's loading up a mobile version, but it's clearly not. Because when I go on my phone, I know it's not going to do this. Anybody know why this bug keeps happening?
Sorry, which bug?
Well, I just know it's not loading the actual.
No, this is mobile. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
like we missed a few things. So yeah, like
No,
go
no.
for it.
Okay. All good. It's been happening to me constantly on every site where I go to my phone and it's just a totally different experience. Okay. So totally understand it's Black Friday. So this is what it's going to be different. I think one of the main things when you get here that I noticed is on these product cards. So when you're going through and showing the actual like images and product cards, one thing to note is a lot of people will just, especially when they're scanning, they're just going to look at the one, like the first price. And this one doesn't get looked at as quite as often. Calling out, instead of saying like last chance, for instance, even though last chance is it's a great little tag, like call out the actual percentage. So, you call it out here, put it on the tag here that just says 50% off. And this goes for, obviously it's Black Friday. So this is all very unique because everything is fucking on sale. So it's not going to look very unique at all in this scenario, but having that as a tag here instead of people seeing it down here or having to do the math is a good selling piece. I would also, I don't know why that just happened. I would remove the ability to add to cart here, if you can. I'm not sure how you get that so if I click on this card on a mobile device, would it come up and then take me to the page and not allow me, or what happens?
The quick add interaction that we have is if you go back to the homepage, you can kind of like slightly hover over, or like I guess click without clicking on the image, and then you can click the size to quick add.
Okay.
It might not work the best there, but yeah, we might need to fix that too. But yeah, you just click on the image to go to the product page, basically.
Cool. Final sale access. Sorry, I'm just going through everything here. I love this offer, the free tote, free t-shirt, free hoodie at the different spend breakpoints. Do you incorporate that into the card experience at all? I'm just gonna add something here.
Yeah, definitely go for it. Yeah, keep.
Yeah, cool thing too is that bar will fill up while you're shopping on the page as well.
Nice. And then does it auto add it to cart for you as you're going here?
Yeah. Or it'll come up and then you'll need to click add to cart, but the option will pop. It should pop up right above there now. Yeah, you've got to click
Nice.
the add to cart. Yeah, because that $200 is a t-shirt, so we had to add the functionality to let somebody pick a size.
Right. What I'm interested to know, like this at the top, is that I've just it's not very common, but is that something custom that you put there, or that's a plugin that puts it at the top?
All custom. Yeah.
So the one thing I'll say is, especially on mobile, like on desktop, it's different. It's fine if it's like that's kind of where people's eyes are, and that's fine. But on mobile devices, you always want that, like it should be sticky for one. So like this should not be the sticky piece. Right now, the only thing that I always see is this shipping and taxes calculated at checkout, which is kind of a negative thing to be like always hitting them with. I would put that, somewhere at the bottom of this content, and this should be the sticky piece that's at the bottom where it's most accessible, right? People's hands working on their phone, they're always at the bottom of the screen. You don't want them to have to reach to the top for your primary action. You want them near the bottom of the page. So I would definitely move that down to the bottom and have it stick down there.
Makes sense.
I would also, one thing that we've found really effective, play with different versions of the checkout button. So include a lock icon, test lock icon plus saying secure checkout, test secure checkout with and without price. For whatever reason, there's a huge barrier there, and different things work for different brands, but I would definitely test a few different things there. We've seen all of them work, but generally adding a lock icon is a really, really simple way to increase clicks there. Let's see the collections page here. Sorry, I know we have a lot of brands to go through, don't we, Thomas? So I should probably just stop.
Yeah, if we want to spend 5-6 minutes on each one, we can.
Okay.
So maybe one more thing here, and then we'll go on to the next one.
Very rarely do we see longer form content at the top work better for brands. I think, I click on new arrivals. I think it's great to be calling out the cause and stuff like that, but maybe there's a more unique way we can display that, or display it at the product page level. I think when they get here, we want them to see as many products as possible and get them to the products as soon as possible. So one thing to test here would be just remove this block here, like just say the title, get them into it, and find more strategic places to place that. But overall, love the site, love the products. I hope Black Friday goes amazing for you guys.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of valuable information in a short span. So thank you. Gonna definitely get that implemented.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. What's the next one, Thomas?
Yep, I just threw it in the chat there.
Oh, sorry. Is the person who submitted this on the call by chance? No, that's okay. Okay, honey with superpowers. So the first thing I'll say, I love this video. Like I love it's actually, oddly enough, this morning I was trying to put honey on something and it was like hardened and not this beautiful creaminess. And now I want to go home and get better honey. But I think the one thing I see just from landing on this page immediately is like, this brand does care about brand aesthetic, and keeping things consistent. And so while I love this video, I feel like it would be really cool to hit users with packaging right when they land on site. So I think finding a way to do a video like this, but also show your packaging would be really powerful. A lot of users never make it past this first section. And, maybe some of them are sold on the fact that they're just here to buy honey, but there's a lot of honey out there. So maybe the packaging is what's going to sell them. I think finding that balance is key. So that would be something to test here, is maybe it's a video where instead of the honey being spread like that, as nice as it looks, maybe it's the honey coming out of a jar on a spoon or something. You get that same look, but you also incorporate the packaging. That looks good. Looks good. High potency MGO. Cool. I think especially with brands that focus on aesthetic a lot, it's very common to make things as big as possible and then kind of just use real estate off screen to put everything else, not hide it, but give them room to focus their design here and then let everything else live off screen. And while it looks better in almost every case, it doesn't perform better. So what I would probably do here is, as great as this is, like all of this info is awesome, it's probably more suited for the product page. There's probably a simpler way to communicate some of these things. Like at this stage in the customer journey, I would probably just say MGO 850, digestive support, right? immune support, wellness and vitality. I don't know what that means, but basically what I'm saying is pull out a key trait of each of them, the highest level key trait, focus on that, reduce this content, and then you can probably get these products into 2 rows of 2 instead of having one shown and the rest live off page. I think it instantly gives you a better visual of like connecting with this intro line that you gave them, right? Honey with superpowers. If they're only seeing the one, it doesn't tell that full story as much, and most users won't get to these. So by showing them all and pulling in that high level key trait of each, instead of making them read all this stuff, we'll let them pick which path they want a lot faster and more often. And then all of these, other benefits, those would be in the product information once they get to the product page. As I was mentioning on the last one too, I would remove this. It seems like the more you would have add to carts across the site, the more often people add it to cart. It's not the case. Very rarely do customers want something so badly that they're adding it from the homepage. Usually they want to learn more, they want to read more. Unless they're a returning customer, I don't see this functioning or being used very often. So I would test removing this completely and pushing users to, I'm guessing what I click through here. Yeah, pushing users to this instead. Okay, this is a tough one. So these look really pretty. Like I definitely love the design, but not like they all kind of look a little similar, but have different function, right? So this one drops down. This one, I changed the quantity. I don't know. This doesn't feel clear enough to me, but the only change here I would make is probably maybe delete this one and just show actual 2 jar visuals so they can pick between the 8 ounce or 8.82 ounce and the 1 pound and just actually show the jar difference. And then the squeeze bottle, sorry. I would just show those with price. I think that could be a more effective way to choose those there. This looks good. One thing a lot of brands miss here is this is kind of that, like, let's say someone's on your site for 1.5 minutes and they're finally ready to add to cart. And then there's just this kind of, it's just add to cart kind of sitting on its own, which is nice, but you kind of want to use this real estate as kind of that last line of defense of like, hey, don't worry, don't stress. This is a good buy. This is where you want to pull in stuff that, not necessarily sales bullshit, but just things that can help just reset that foundation and make sure people are like, okay, yeah, right. I remember seeing that. Or so things like, maybe it's I don't know what this one is, but a money back guarantee, or, ships within 2 days, something that gets them excited about getting it faster, or maybe it's around Christmas. So it's giving them clarity that they're going to get it in time. Anything that kind of just helps alleviate stress at that last stage. In this case, like free shipping on orders over 50. Like in this case, I know that their order is at least $64 if they add this to cart. So I would be saying this order ships free because we know that now, right? They selected this one. If they select, all of these are over the threshold. So we could say that for all of them. So that would be a great piece of information here to help them relieve stress before they add that to cart. I'm just going to see quickly if they have. Yeah, so they do have lower price point products. I think one thing a lot of brands miss too is
Весь мир должен подчиняться вам. У вас есть атомная бомба. На самом деле вы слабые.
Sorry?
Боитесь даже
Oh, there we go. I think this is a good opportunity for a brand like this that has these different types of things they support. And they're very simple, smaller products. They should probably be bundling them in some way. So similar to how Peace Collective was doing that, like each time you add one, there's a perk. That perk could be as simple as unlocking a free sample pack, or it could be anything. Automatically unlock free shipping. In this case, it probably wouldn't make sense, but unlocking a discount, anything like that, as you add more, can be really beneficial for a brand like this. Let's do the next one, Thomas.
Yep, just threw it in there. Next one up is Parents Are Human. If anyone from their team is on the chat.
Hey everyone, I am. So this is just our landing page, the one that all our ads are driving traffic to. We make this bilingual card game that helps people have deeper conversations with their parents, their grandparents, kids, all sorts of loved ones. And it's 50 questions, 20 actions, English on the front, and one of 15 languages now on the back.
Very cool. So is it, sorry, I'm just interested, is it targeted at families that are bilingual, or it's targeted at, where does the bilingual come in?
Yeah, so this is really powerful for immigrant families because most of them will have a language difference, as in the older population came from a different culture, speaks a different language fluently, English not so well, and then the adult children, if you will, grew up in the US and are fluent in English, but are not as fluent in their native language or parents' native language. Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
we come in an English-only edition as well. So we target, I guess, mostly immigrant families, but English is also like our third bestseller or something like that.
Very cool. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So the very first thing I see here, oops, close that. So when I click here, I'm just going to do this on mobile. So I come in, I like the idea, I like the product, I see the headline, I'm like, okay, this is a great idea, I'm a customer, and I see pick my language. So the biggest issue here is you've got their attention for like that, right? They came, I'm guessing a lot of your traffic's coming from ads like every other brand in the world. And so they've come from an ad, you've got their attention for a very little amount of time. And they land, they're excited, they click that button to pick a language, and they're expecting to just pick a language. But now I have to scroll through what could be a shitload of content before I can pick my language. And you know, you likely, unless they're in the top 3 or 4 of those, you've lost them immediately. And that, you know, that's a really easy to fix problem, but could get really bad really fast. So the first thing I would say is,
maybe we should take that drop down that you see in the top right corner and put it there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think how you have it flowing could work. I think the main thing I would change is, one, don't style it like a drop down, right? So like, don't have an arrow, a chevron here, because it's not a drop down. You're actually just moving them down the page. So make it full width, say pick my language or pick your language, whichever you want to use or test. You can scroll them down still, but then just have like a grid of like little tags that just says every language that you offer, right? Like it can be a list, it could be as simple as a list too, but just give them that list to pick from, and then that could drive them to this. Like these are all kind of individual products. So this is really hard to read on mobile. I'm just going to go here. Each of these is kind of its own product page, which is, I mean, a little overwhelming in itself. I probably wouldn't display this on the home page, but as I'm seeing now, you don't have the product pages. So you would have to have some sort of sub navigation here of just like letting them swipe through the different languages. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does.
Are they all English plus?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
They're English plus another language.
Yeah. So I would just have a little selector here. And don't even say English plus on all of them. Just say English, Chinese edition, traditional Chinese, Vietnamese. Just have those as all little quick selectors here. And that scrolls them down to each one as they need it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this could be the answer too, right? Like just pick a language. Like that's a pretty decent first test too. And then when I click this,
it goes right
to the right anchor in the page, right? That could work too. But I think the key is this is the first thing that they're being asked to do, and then you're just setting them up for so much work.
That's right. We do record the sessions, and I've been reviewing the recorded sessions, and that is quite frequently what people do. I mean, they spend a good amount of time on our website, but it's scrolling through all the languages.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to a lot of products, I don't think there's not necessarily negativity with exploring and going through things, but with yours in particular, it's essentially the same t-shirt in 17 languages. So we actually don't want them scrolling forever, looking and browsing. It's like, there's only one product that works for your customer out of the 17. Let's just give them that one product. So your entire goal as the marketer or as the designer, when the person lands on site, is this customer needs one of the 17 things I offer, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 17. They need one of them. So maybe they need two quantity of that same one, but they only need one of them likely. They don't speak 4 languages together with their family. So your goal from step 1 is just how fast can I get them to the exact language they need? And so that should be the focus at all times.
Yeah. Agreed. I do have a specific question here on I'm wondering, because we expanded to 15 languages this year. It was only 7 before. So it was, I think, a little easier to get through all of them. And we had this landing page format where all the languages were listed vertically, and there weren't really any product pages. Would it be better to, I mean, this is almost a complete redesign of having people be able to go into those product pages, explore more on, I mean, they're.
I think with this volume of products, you absolutely need to have product pages. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And currently,
usually when it extends outside of, and it depends how unique the product is, right? Like, is this one product with 15 variations, right? Or is it 15 products? I think you need to define that first. If these are all so unique that they each need, like, in my opinion, I don't know this product probably well enough, but in my opinion, you likely don't need any of these, right? You need one of these. You need one of these and then pick my language. Right? Like, there should be, if I was to just go from scratch, I wouldn't say this at all. I would just say, pick my language, scrolls me down to the product section. It says, parents are human, language, whatever, gives them the brief on the game, gives them how many families it's worked for, gives them a little bit of information about reviews, gives them a price, which is, by the way, crazy to me that you're not showing price here. And then I would just have a variant selector that says, pick my language. They pick their language and they add to cart. But there absolutely should only be one of these, not if you're going to do it this way. There should not be this many of them.
Okay. Yeah. Shoot, we just took out the price. That was not intentional.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you were taking them to a product page, it's fine, but you're asking them to add to cart, and I don't know about you, but I don't buy anything if I don't know what the price is.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's really a product question for you. Like if and this applies to any product for anyone like on the call, if the products are different enough, then you absolutely need to differentiate them for the customer, but you're kind of almost directly showing them the product's not different. Like every one of these says the same thing, all the same content. The only thing changing is the word here, right? So like that tells me one thing. You don't need any of them, right? The second the design rule is like the second you're repeating things, then it just delete. As soon as something's repeated, it doesn't need to be said twice, right? You need to speak really clearly and confidently and communicate quickly to customers, especially online. So if something needs to be said multiple times, that means it can probably be said once. So what I'm saying is if 15 products share all the same info, right? They have the same what's included. They have the same shipping info, international shipping info, all the same info on what the game is, and they're just changing the name. That's just a variant selector, not 15 product cards. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So yeah, I would do that first, and I think you'll see honestly, I think you'll see a massive increase in conversion if you shrunk all these down to one.
Amazing. Okay. I'll work on that today.
I think the one missing thing before I move on is working social proof like this into even in small formats higher up the page. Excuse me. So like I was saying earlier, like
Yes.
even just whatever, a quote from an immigrant family, one, or like how many families use it. Some of the things that, like it's great to hear the brand say it's helped spark deep conversations. But like, it's so much more powerful coming from an actual family. So if we could see a quote of like something that came out of this from a real person, or then, like I said, just a clear data point. Here's how many people love this game. Here's how many 5-star, whatever, anything that can just be like, okay, this isn't a brand new game. People have used this. Because as great as all this is down here.
Yeah, they're very much way down.
Yeah, like if I went into your Clarity or Hotjar or whatever, if you use that, like most people never get here ever. And in your case, they probably aren't for sure because there's so much length here. So you're getting them to add it to cart before you've kind of earned their trust. And that's a really hard sell. And by the looks of it, it's a really successful and great product. So I think there's no shame. Like you should bring that up. Like you want to bring that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Sorry, that was a lot of rambling, but I hope that was helpful.
No, I'm very grateful. This kicking the butt I needed. We ran out of time to redesign this year. But now I'm getting on it. So thank you.
So I don't think it needs you don't need an entirely new site or anything. It's just very small tweaks and omissions, honestly, that need to happen. And I think you'll be great.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Sean.
No worries.
Next one up is Sunday Citizen. If anyone from their team is on the call and wants to give a little background. If not, no worries.
Oh, I'm on mute. There we go. Okay, Sunday Citizen.
I think, Sean, let's get through. Is anyone from Plants or Purple on the call? I just want to get to the people who are on the call. Their site first, maybe. All right, we'll try one more and then we'll come back to Sunday Citizen. Anyone from Puro Labs on the chat? Okay, never mind. Go ahead to Sunday Citizen.
Sunday Citizen?
Yep, go ahead.
I'm always so on the fence with the big full sale takeover stuff. I mean, I totally get it. Most consumers this time of year, they're not looking for brand buy-in. They're just looking for where the hell's the best price. But I always think it's important to find ways to communicate the brand offering, or like, that, what are you known for? What do people trust you for when you welcome people to the site? Because when people are doing this shopping Black Friday, Cyber Monday, although they are, looking to get a deal, it is when they're discovering a ton of new brands. And so I think it's still important to incorporate that stuff and think about, I guess, the long tail of that sale, and how are we making sure that they're coming back and not just buying something because it was on sale. As nice as it is for that single dopamine hit when they purchase that time, we do want them to understand the brand and buy in long term as well. So I think finding ways to incorporate that here would be something I would do probably right away, rather than just having the sale come in here. One small thing here, this is a very common thing with different templates in Shopify, but there's no way to differentiate styling of single collections versus all. And there's multiple ways you can do that, but as you can kind of see here, it's kind of like comforters 2 ways. They're all under bedding, and then there's all bedding. So the point I'm making is, like, if you want to do all, I would always either just make this feel like its own link. So I can click here and that goes to all, and this goes to all. Or maybe the all is up here, but like style it differently than the individual sections. So it feels different than them all. It's not buried at the bottom of all these. Because in most cases, a lot of people are just shopping the category. That's the one they're actually looking for. Excuse me. Let's go mobile here. I apologize. Keep muting. This is either the site or my stupid Chrome thing, but we're going to go out of mobile again.
By the way, Sean, it does look different when you go into your inspector than on actual mobile.
Yeah, I know. But it used to be, as long as you selected the right device, it was fine. It's so weird. One thing to mention here on the product page images that we see a lot is a lot of users will use the images as kind of their primary content source. So we like to find unique ways to incorporate content from the page into there. So as an example, in this snug sham set, for instance, maybe within these images, there's an actual like UGC image, right? Maybe it's a customer photo or something. Maybe we pull in an actual review. So we take in, where are these? Maybe it's a review of a customer image with a quote kind of designed over top of it. So you can kind of see what people are saying. Maybe it's an image like this, except it points out the key traits of the product. So maybe it's like not machine washable or anything like that, but anything that's kind of like the selling features of it, little arrows pointing to it, anything like that. If users are going to start clicking through these, they're likely looking for something. So we want to give them everything possible to kind of push them over the edge. I like this little pairs well with section here. So let's see. Gift. This is interesting. One thing up here I would add in is best sellers. There's a lot of products here. And one thing that brands want to know, or that customers want to know when they come to a new site or they're discovering something is, I mean, obviously outside of Black Friday, and Black Friday, they're just looking for a sale, but they want to know what other people are buying and what's most popular for the brand, right? And in this case, it's not made super clear. So I would add a best sellers category up here. Let's see this gift guide. Same as that last brand. I would test removing the quick add. I know it seems like, hey, well, who's it hurting to have it there and accessible, but we just see a much higher click through and conversion when people are doing it from the product page. Same thing, make sure to incorporate a lock icon on that checkout button. I personally feel like there's a lot of actions happening here. Like we really want them to get to checkout, but we're giving them a lot of things to do before they can do that. I think upselling is definitely important. Gifting too, but I'm just wondering, is there maybe, could the impact and the gift be incorporated into the checkout process instead of this stage? This is kind of the stage where we lose them a lot of the time. So maybe it's getting them to check out and then we hit them with those last few things as options in the checkout flow. So that could be something to test, is just moving the gift and the impact section into that stage of the flow instead of here. Sorry, Thomas, we're running low on time. What's the
Yeah, we can jump to this next one called Nathan James, and I believe Josh from Nathan James is on the call.
Josh, you said?
I believe so.
Hey, this is Lauren. I'm from Nathan James too on the call. So
Hey.
we are an online furniture retailer. We've grown a ton in the last year or so. Mostly did sales through Amazon and Home Depot, but now we're doing a lot more direct to consumer. So just some of our biggest challenges, I think Josh could probably speak to that a little bit better. I'm on the design side, but would love to get your thoughts.
Cool. Well, nice to meet you. Okay, so two things right away. This right here, it kind of feels like a subheading, not an action. I kind of had to, my gut was that it might be, so I checked, and obviously it is now. I see the hover, but I think definitely find a way to make that more clear. I would probably either move it over here, make it actual button. So like, for instance, shop all new products. Maybe move it here at the bottom of the section, shop new, all new products. But either way, it needs to be more clear that it's an action. And then within these product cards, this goes for any product. I think as good as it can be to, my guess is that this is the actual product title. Great. And I totally get that. It's a SEO thing, it's a marketing thing, and having as much info as you can in there is very helpful, but that does not mean it needs to display that way visually,
Right.
just because that's how it is in the back end. This content needs to be easy for customers to consume if you want them to get through as much as possible. So for instance, this should probably be broken into, think in a hierarchy, right? So what's the top level category? Okay, it's furniture and it's bar stool. So maybe up here in, blue like this, or maybe it's gold, it says bar stool. And then it says Isaac modern backless metal round. And that's honestly or maybe with boucle padded seat, like break out the info into individual sections so that people can kind of scan it easier. Instead of the current format, it forces them to read every word in order to kind of understand it. And so it can just be kind of overwhelming. And as much as these products kind of communicate themselves in the image, you still want to make content easy to get through.
Yeah, definitely makes sense.
Just when we were looking at Peace Collective, it's super critical. People are very, very triggered by the actual numbers. So what I mean by that is like the dollar savings or the percentage savings. I would try both, but I always say just never make customers do math, basically, right? So $19.99 on sale sounds really great, but the fact that it's 60% off sounds a lot better. So calling that out up here, right? Like 60% off, or calling it even right here in a text. Excuse me, I think would be really beneficial, because technically it's, over double, triple, quadruple the discount of this one, but they look the same, right? That would be the best comparison I can give, is this one is 4 times as cheap in terms of discount, but they have the same styling. So there's a problem there because you're not giving the customer all the information clearly. This looks really good. I think it's great to have these reviews displayed in here like this. I think there's certain places where a certain amount of fidelity makes sense and doesn't make sense. And when it comes to the homepage, you really want to give them the highlight reel, right? And this is kind of just pulling in whatever's recent. So in the homepage section, we kind of want to say, here's 4 or 5 of them. Here's amazing product reviews, and keep them focused. So what I mean by that is like maybe show 1 or 2 at a time, maybe skip the photos for them. Like this one, these 3 don't have a photo, this one does, but it's just kind of displaying the API of whatever reviews.io is, which probably makes sense on the product page where you're going to show all 500 per product kind of thing. But up here, I think it's more important to communicate, like, what are people loving about the brand, right? Like, what are they loving about, is it really amazing shipping times and everything shows up and it's perfect. It's exactly like the image, like, focus on curating a few reviews, I guess, that speak to the brand and the quality and the things that you're trying to push as a brand. And then you could have an action to actually like go read more reviews if you wanted, right?
Okay.
I like these images. So did that add it to cart, or it's going to add it when I hit this?
It should add it
It
when
will,
you click add to cart.
yeah, if that's checked and you hit add to cart, it'll add them both. And if you hit learn more, it'll take you to the PDP for that recommended item. And this is all rebuy.
Huh. It's really weird that they wouldn't. I mean, I like how simple it is, but it's not really made clear to the user that that's what's happening.
Yeah. And I don't have control over that experience. What I'd like to do is kind of like build our own cross-sell recommendation and control the experience. But right now this is rebuy. So they're powering that rack, they're powering the racks below the fold, and then they're powering the flyout nav, the flyout cart and then the smart cart, if you will. Yeah.
I wonder if a simple temporary fix could just be saying, add this to cart as well. Like just, it sounds, it's obviously not as sexy, but it's just a little more clear.
Click to add to cart also. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something more clear.
Something like that. Okay. And by the way, those images on the left-hand side, the thumbnails, you can like scroll. So there's like 8 of them. So like if you used your mouse wheel and went beyond, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Same thing in mobile, but with your finger.
Cool.
By the way, that red sale with the thing, that's right now Optimizely at 100% just through the holiday. Google Optimize, I should say.
Yeah, makes sense.
It actually tied. We left it running for 13 days and they literally had the exact same number of clicks at 50-50. So we're like, fuck it.
Sorry, I'm just doing one last look here.
Yeah.
It's always hard to define where to set structure on things like this, right? Like, how do we ensure content stays aligned, things like that?
Exactly. 2 lines versus 3 lines.
Yeah.
That's killing me. Like on mobile, especially because the blocks will actually like be offset from each other and an email looks ugly. So I actually have like an action item to figure out like a solid naming convention. Somehow lately, like Amazon-like titles have been sneaking in. And yes, we sell to Amazon where it's like a lot of keywords and all that. And like, I don't think we need that on our brand. We have meta fields and other things like that for SEO. But yeah,
it's a constant problem. Like every brand struggles with it. There's no right answer, but I think trying when it's a shorter title, still setting the price aligned with the rest. Like there's little tweaks you could do, but I think overall, a lot of the right decisions are made here. I think the one thing I would say is I don't know if these things are adding any value. At least I can't, even on desktop, I can't tell what colors those are.
So, okay, good. So now if you notice, this is like a collection, right? And there's very little flexibility in terms of what you can do with Shopify collections, which is why we love Replo. So right now, scroll up and on the left side on the nav, hit shop by style. And then I want you to go into the first option that comes down, which is Bohemian. And Bohemian, so this is our first use. This is Replo right here. And this is where, and if you scroll down, you see the arches now, which is kind of our icon. There's better value, I think, in those now to clearly know what the differences are. So like this was our very first Replo page that Lauren built here, who's talking. And now we're going to build these out for the rest of those shop by style pages. But yeah, like this is where we have more control now. And that's where, and that those arches are part of our branding element.
Very cool. Yeah, that looks awesome. That's so much better.
Much better, right? Yeah.
Even if you could get even if you did see the color in those other ones, there's so much different detail here, right? Like I actually see horizontal like lines in the wood and
Exactly.
yeah, there's a lot more detail there that's just so much more helpful.
And you notice when you mouse over, it's a zoom in. So it's a clearer picture than all the other pages where Shopify just shows you the next image in the block when you mouse over.
Cool.
Yes, amazing work, Lauren.
Looks very good. Well, I hope you guys crush it for
Yep. And
Black
now
Friday.
we're working with Replo, obviously, and getting reviews.io integrated. And the team has been amazing at how quick they turn around work. So I'm a big advocate for anyone here who is not yet using Replo. Get on it.
Nice.
Sean, do you want to we'll do one more. We might go a little over time. So if anyone needs to jump, no worries. But we'll do one more if that's all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I believe Jessica is on the call.
Yeah, you're going to need the www. Sorry. Just quickly in terms of challenges. So we are a single product brand. We sell a fiber supplement. We currently have 4 flavors. Many are out of stock. That's why we're not doing Black Friday right now. So the main challenges are communication, like what is this product? What does it do? We're also in a category where all of our competitors say they do the same thing. So really cutting through the noise and building that trust that this is a quality product worth a premium price and something you should add to cart.
Cool. All natural. I'm guessing it's like a just a powder that you put into the water.
Yes, exactly. You can add it to other liquids, but the main use case is a serving of powder, cool water, stir it up, and you drink it.
The one thing I don't get here is that I'm not getting is it something I'm taking every day? So like some sort of idea of, okay, it's $34 for my Bonnie. How long is this lasting? How $1 a day? So you kind of allude to it that this is $34 gets me 30 days. So it's $1 a day. So this is a 1 month supply basically.
Yes, but that's a good point. We do not specifically call that out, that you should be taking it every day and a tin lasts a month.
Okay. That's intentional though.
No, I mean, it's an oversight.
I'm
We
not
can
saying
definitely
it's
add
right
that
or
in.
wrong. I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's just for me, it's always interesting, especially because it's the only product. It's like when it comes to a supplement like this, and I mean, I'm sure I'm like everyone, there's just endless things in my cupboard. Some of them are used, some of them are not. And I think that the clearer and more and simpler you can communicate with something like this, the better. And so just saying like 1 month's, get my monthly supply, like something that getting them in that mindset of the exact amount it is, I think could be beneficial.
And certainly test it. Yeah.
I think the other thing here that would be really beneficial is some sort of comparison. Like you talk a lot about the value of fiber and people like 90% of us don't get enough fiber. What are they doing this instead of, or it's in addition?
Yeah, so two ways to look at it. Most people don't get enough fiber through diet alone. That would be the primary source, would be your diet, but 95% of Americans don't. So they may be taking another fiber supplement to fill that gap. So we do have on the product page a comparison of us versus like the big competitor in the space. We don't name it, we just allude to it. But yes, it's not on the homepage currently, that comparison.
No, all good. I think on this, whenever you're doing like an add to cart, or I guess like a product featured section on the homepage, you want it to be, it's just like your website, right? It's content, and where it sits responds as it scales down. And if you think of this like a responsive PDP, this should be a PDP kind of shrunk down to suit your homepage. And I think you can probably, in this case, if someone's going to add it to cart from your homepage, we want them to make it as simple as possible, and then give them an option to learn more. So in this section, what I'm getting at is, maybe let's just give one image, right? So just one image, price, product, title, right? So just real probiotic fiber. Give them the key traits of the product. There's probably ways we could simplify this. Like there's a lot of marketing content on the page. So like almost everything is reiterated with a marketing piece. So just simplifying this into like, what are the key things here? Give me 3, like just quick. Remove the quantity selector, remove sharing it, right? Like people, Apple, Android, whatever device you're on, there is so many native functions for sharing that people are so used to. I don't see this being anything but a distraction from this. So again, just paring it down, simplifying what you're displaying here, and then giving them an add to cart button or a learn more button. Learn more being the product page. The other thing I would be careful of here is there's a lot of brands that, and a lot of Shopify templates that place a favorites button beside other buttons, especially add to cart. There is I would just remove this from here, because it's a kind of the universal Shopify symbol for favorites, and it's just not worth any confusion. So I would just remove that from that button. Okay. But yeah, in general, if anywhere you're going to have this, I would make it look less like a button. So like this should be standing out from everything else on page, whereas right now this looks the same as this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
I'm just going to go to the product page quick. One thing you don't show anywhere, which I would, even though it's probably not sexy, is the actual product.
Meaning the powder itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, in these 3 flavors, I think they're flavors, yeah. Like, are they different colors?
They are. We used to have, there was an image I had of like 4 spoons, and each spoon had a different colored powder in it. I guess I lost that. I tested it, but I can bring that back. You're right. I don't have that visual.
Yeah, or even like, even just if all of these images had like a spoon coming out the top with it in it, like it doesn't need to be crazy. I'm just, it's the one thing that since I landed on the site, I just keep thinking about is I'm like, I don't really care, but I know most, like I have 3 kids, all of my kids, if I know this isn't for them, but like, maybe it is, but like, I would not be able to buy this in this moment because I cannot tell if it's a powder or a pill. And I know one of them will take one and one of them will take the other. Like they all want something different. And so regardless of whether, like, obviously this is mixed in water, it's different, but like, I'm just saying that does matter to a lot of people. So even if it's somewhere in this fine print, like we've been on here for a while and I would have had to guess.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. It's good to see this with someone's eyes that is not looking at this every day and knows that it's a powder.
Yeah, so no. And that, honestly, that's one of those little things that it shouldn't matter. And it may not to a lot of users, but I think there is definitely a lot of users that care.
No, certainly. I mean, there's other form factors in the category like capsules that are extremely popular.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll say, it's not necessarily super relevant for yours, but I think it could have some merit, is a lot of products, price sensitivity can be affected by the size. So I actually had a call with a skincare brand last week, and it was like $180 for 3 products. And I was kind of like, that seems pricey. And then he showed me the product on camera, and it was like looked like a freaking suitcase. And, you know, they were huge, but like the images on the site didn't give me that. And there was no sizing reference on site to like show that. I guess what I'm getting at is like $34 probably doesn't seem high, but like if I saw this in someone's hand and it looked like a, you know, a poker, like a dice, like a gambling dice, I'd be like, fuck, that's expensive. But if it, you know, if it looked like a giant cube, $34 doesn't seem as expensive. So like giving people scale can help connect price to something really easily, even if it's totally irrelevant and it's 30 servings or not, it can help. And so I'm not saying there's a right answer there, but it's something I would play with in the sense of like, if your packaging feels like, you know, a $34 package, like it's, you know, like a cup of coffee size kind of thing versus a really tiny cube, it's probably worth showing in some way the scale of it. So maybe it's this box on a hand, right? Anything that can show the relevance of it to something else. You know what I mean?
No, totally. And I've done this before with other brands. We've done like comparison to a credit card or something like that, to give scale. Something
this
that
does
people
a decent
know.
job right here, this one.
Yeah. It is 3.25 cubed. So it's a very compact, high, you know, sustainable tin. But yeah, no, we could definitely shoot something really quick and easy that compares it to something that people understand and know, or it's in a hand.
Cool. One last thing. So navigationally, you have one product, one primary product.
Yeah, it's one product.
If you think of the navigation as like a hierarchy of importance, you give that one product the same importance as everything up here, right? And I think the main change I would suggest here is just pull out like Bonnie Fiber. Like that's link 1. Link 2, shop other or other products, and then a more drop down with all this stuff. And honestly, I would have a giant button that says, you know, get Bonnie. Like anything that's just, they need to see that there's one action you want them to take, and that's to get the product. Obviously, if they want to learn more and all that, they're always going to find that stuff. You don't need to have it at the same presence as your primary offering. I'm guessing. Yeah, like this stuff is like upsell stuff, right?
Oh yeah, the tablespoon is, yeah.
Yeah. So like just give them an easier jumping point to just shop the fiber.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I wanted to clean that up anyway, because I know there's a lot of stuff up there, especially on tablet, it gets really crowded.
Yeah. Looks good though. I love the packaging.
Thank you. No, this has been very helpful. I appreciate this. Like I said, it's always good to see what someone who has no background in it thinks once they jump to your site.
Yeah, and honestly, in a lot of cases when we're doing stuff like this, like I learn a lot too, right? Because it's most of how Oddit approaches design and how we approach our feedback is almost exactly like this. It's not in traditional client engagements where, hey, let's sit on a 5-hour onboarding call. I used to run a large product design agency, and you know that's how most engagements went. And I just find that not a lot of problems are solved in those things because you're essentially just adapting all of your recommendations and feedback to, you know, pre-vetted things that the client has shared. And I find doing things like this where you're stumbling upon sites or brands or experiences for the first time, it's when some of the best ideas and some of the better breakthroughs come through.
Yeah, no, it's great because, you know, I like the other entrepreneur mentioning, I look at screen recordings, but they can't articulate what you just articulated going through the page and, you know, asking those questions.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you. That was greatly appreciated.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica.
Cool. All right, I think that's it. We'll do another one of these likely in December, and then probably do more in 2023. So, yeah. Any other questions or things from the Replo team? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
No, I just want to say thank you, Sean, and thank you, Thomas, for joining. I know this got postponed, but this actually went really well, and looking forward to doing this again in December. And yeah, if anyone's on this call and isn't in our Slack community, like I might put the link in the chat. But besides that, message us on any channel, and happy to help.
Awesome.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye guys. Have a great Thanksgiving if you're in the States.
Yeah.